Hello Stampers, welcome back. This is the third project that I made with the Grassy Grove bundle. I used the whole bundle this time and I made this stunning card. It's so pretty and looks so artistic, but it really is quite easy. So I used the stamp set and I used the dies and I also used blending brushes. And these blending brushes, you can rinse them out when you're done, but you can see that, well, for one thing, they were used all day and they weren't cleaned out, so they kind of got stained. But if you take and rub this on a piece of cardstock, it's dried out, it doesn't give you any color. So even though it's stained, it doesn't really affect your project at all. All right, so the first thing that I did for this project was to take a piece of cardstock, which is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it in the middle at 5 1/2. I'm going to take my bone folder and just give it a nice crisp edge. There's my card base, and then I have 2 pieces of white cardstock. This one is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and then I had another piece which I don't have anymore to show you, but it was just another 1/4 inch in, so it was 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And I took that and die cut it with the Grassy Grove dies. So this is the tree image, and this is a little bit smaller image. Then I also cut out these 2 deer. And sometimes I stick to the bottom, especially if your plate is as well loved as mine is, but you can just pull it off with your fingernail. There's the 2 deer, and this I ran it through twice, and if you run it through twice with these intricate dies, most of the chads will fall right out. This one didn't do so good, but you can take and poke them out if you want to. I've already done that, so I'm not going to sit and do this, but you can just pop them right out. They pop right out real easily. And so then, I stole my paper, there we go. So then once you pop them out, it looks like this. And so you can see I've got 3 pieces of cardstock. The white frame is slightly bigger than the Grassy Grove die cut frame. All right, so how did I do my background? I'm glad you asked. This is where I use my blending brushes, and I'm going to get the rest of this stuff out of the way. And what I want to do is leave a white frame all the way around the edge because I'm not going to use an extra layer. I could have cut another piece this same size and done my blending brushes background on that. But that would add a whole other layer to my card, and I really didn't want to do that. So I'm just going to carefully use my blending brush, and hopefully I am able to leave my layer around the edge. There's my original card. So yeah, I want to leave a little white layer around the edge. I actually did like brush a little bit of green there, but you can't really even tell. Really can't tell. All right, so I'm going to start with the sky first, and I'm taking the blending brush and I'm just rubbing it in a little circle on my ink pad, and then I'm going to just rub it here on my paper first to make sure there's not a big blob of color, because sometimes you can do that. And I just flipped my card over because I had some little marks. I'm not really sure why on that card. Actually, if you get a blob of color on your card, it actually kind of looks interesting. It's not that big a deal on this particular card. Okay, and I'm trying to stay away from the edges. And hey, guess what? In the new mini catalog, they have mini blending brushes, which I think would probably really help with this card. I'm really excited to get mine. I ordered them, but with the big backlog of orders from their special that started on December 1st, which was they're clearing out the mini catalog. There's some really great deals on some of the retiring items, and also they refreshed the clearance rack. So anyway, they're Stampin' Up is pretty backlogged with orders right now. So I didn't get my pre-order yet, which has my new mini blending brushes, but I'm excited to get that. Can't wait, really. All right, so there's my sky, and now I'm going to work on the grass. And by the way, I am using Pear Pizzazz for the grass, and I'm using Balmy Blue for the sky. And the reason I settled on Pear Pizzazz was because I had used all my other colors. Oops, I just got a streak. Oh well, it'll cover up. I had used all my other colors of green in my projects at my stamp club, and this was the one I was left with, but I like how it turned out. It's pretty. I might have used a darker green for this, but if I would have been able to, but since I've already done it, and I kind of like it like this, we're just going to stick with what I have. All right, so I'm just going to set this on top and see if I want any more color, and it looks like I could use some more blue up there and maybe some more green on this side. I intentionally left a little white strip in the middle just to kind of give it more interest. All right, so I'm going to try to get a little more green over here without getting to the side. It looks like I got to the side. I really think if I had those new mini blending brushes, this would have worked better. So, wow, I can't wait to try them. All right, so I'll try to get the corners here. They also have a blending brush stand, plastic stand, coming out in the new mini. So that's going to be really handy to have too. I know I have a lot of blending brushes, so it'll be nice to have a home for them. All right, so I'm going to close up the Balmy Blue for now. I'm done with that. And I'm going to move this off to the side. Now I'm going to work on my top layer. Now, I've seen several demonstrators that did different techniques similar to this. It wasn't my original idea, but a lot of people have been doing it. Now, I could have just taken just cardstock in Pear Pizzazz and used that instead of the white, but I kind of like the white better, and then using the blending brush. I've seen it done both ways, and so I'm creating that top layer. The reason that I prefer this over the Pear Pizzazz cardstock is I can really control the color better. And also I can kind of give it variation, which I think looks really pretty. So yeah. And so there's some blobs of color because I have ink all over my fingers, because that's what happens when you stamp. But it'll all look good in the end. All right, so that's about what I'm going to do. I'm done with the blending brush. I would just run these under cold water. Maybe put a little dish soap on them, Dawn dish soap, and scrub them, and they get pretty clean. I mean, they're still, like I showed you what they look like at the start of the video. There is some permanent color that remains on them, but it doesn't affect your stamping. All right, so I used Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz for this next step. You just use the same color for this. So I'm going to do the grass first, and I'm using this really big long stamp set to do that, and I'm going to ink it up. And these big long ones, honestly, they ink better if you lay them flat and go like this, then try to do it the other way so you can see what you're doing. And I'm going to just ink up the bottom here. All right, that looks good, and I'm going to do it again, re-inking. And there. That looks good. All right, so some of my ladies said, well, you could just stamp it upside down and you'd have a nice flat line, and you could do that, but then you wouldn't get this little bit of variation, which I liked. So there's the grass, and now I'm going to take these little trees, and I'm not going to ink the trunks. I'm just going to ink the tree itself. So to do that, I'm just running it off the edge. Can you see that? Of my stamp pad. I'm inking it up. You can even remove it with your finger if you want. And I'm stamping the trees up here. Like, how fun is that? And that gives it, I'm just going different directions. Makes it kind of look like leaves. And I'm just going to stamp a bunch of them. And I'm stamping off a little, just trying to get some good variation. And I'm going to get down the sides here, otherwise it looks weird. And this area too. Get down this side, so I can't really see what I'm doing. Alright, because my camera's in the way. And that, I like that. I'm going to put a little more up top because it looks a little strange up there. Okay, isn't that pretty? And now I'm just going to take my marker. I tried it first with early espresso and it was just too dark. So then I came in with the soft suede and I thought that looked a little bit better. So I'm going to take my soft suede marker. It has a fine tip side and a brush side. I'm going to use the brush side for this project. And just make sure you have like a piece of paper behind it because you're probably going to go over the edges. You don't want to draw on your table or something. And so probably the hardest thing for coloring this is to figure out where those branches are. So sometimes I will take like the original stamp set. That doesn't even help me, does it? Because it's not in there. You're just going to have to use your imagination. I was thinking there was a stamp that looked like that, but there's not. So yeah. Just look at it and try to figure out where those straight lines are. There's some up there. Right there. And it just like totally pops the die. It looks so pretty. I mean, you could just do it all in one color, but this looks amazing, doesn't it? And it's fun. I'll probably be using these for my Christmas thank you cards. I always do Christmas thank you cards every year, and it's a lot of fun. Now, like I said, this bundle is in the main catalog, so there's no rush to order it, and that it's not retiring, but you know, if you're going to use this for your Christmas thank you cards, you want to get it soon. Actually, yeah, it's too late to order for Christmas, but you could use it for winter cards. Stampin' Up! Had a cutoff of December 8th for ordering in time for Christmas. So you'd be too late for that, but this is a wonderful stamp set. It makes such pretty cards. And so now to put it all together, you want to use glue. I use the Tombow. I like to mark mine with washi tape so that everybody knows it's mine and they don't take it home. And I don't see my silicone mat. It's here somewhere. My desk is kind of messy right now. Alright, so I'm just going to put glue on the back. Now when I put glue on the back, I don't want to get too close to the edges. I'm going to just sort of go in the middle there and try to just get a light bead of glue. And the reason I'm not getting too close to the edges is because I don't want it to ooze out, although it's kind of unavoidable here because there's not much space. There we go, a bead across the bottom. One down this side. Once again, not much space, so just try not to get too close to the edge. I'm going to put a little bit down the tree trunks. Of course, if you had the fine tip glue pin, that of course would work. better than the mono adhesive for this particular project, but this works. You just have to be careful and not squeeze out too much glue when you're doing it. And yeah, I'm not putting glue everywhere, just a few little places to kind of hold everything down. Okay, and when I use my glue, I like to store it upside down like this. Of course you can't see it, but anyway. All right, and I'm gonna glue it to this card base, or the background. It's not really the card base. And I'm sort of hovering over it, which is hard to do with the camera, but there we go. Gluing it down, and see, I didn't get any glue oozing out because I wasn't too close to the edges. It's not all perfectly stuck down there, but it looks fine. And then I'm gonna glue this to my card base. And I'm about, whoops, 1/4 of an inch in. I might just do a little bit here. You really don't need much, but just enough to hold it down so you don't have like a pocket of air in the middle or something like that. Make sure that this is opening the right way, and it is. And there we go. And then last, I'm going to take these little deer and put them in my card. And I thought this was kind of cute with this deer, like looking back, the big deer at the little deer. So I figure it's like a mama and a baby. And I'm just putting it kind of in the middle, down the legs a little bit, trying not to get too much on there. Once again, the fine tip glue pen would be better for this project, but I don't have one, so. And I'm just gonna stick, I think I want to stick it in front there. I'm not going to tuck it underneath the grass. I could have if I wanted to. And then the little deer, put some glue on him. And there we go. Isn't that cute? Makes a wonderful thank you card, a wonderful winter card. I think it's just so pretty. So thanks for joining me today. It's a very stunning card and really not that long of a time. You can make several at once. And check out my other 2 videos that I made with Grassy Grove. I had a lot of fun with this stamp set, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.